questions for Ariel in the room?
First, all right, defense. I know that's one of the things you've kind of hung your hat on this year. Just how far can this defense take this team as you go into the playoffs?
I think pretty far. I think it's something that you can teach as far as angles and different things like that, but wanting to get down and defend, that's not something you can really teach. So I think it's a true asset for us going into the playoffs.
And then just individually, as you look at your season, what are some of the things that you've liked and been positive for you so far?
Yeah, I think I'm getting to the rack just a little bit more. Probably not as much as I would like to, but just giving my team a different facet on the offensive end, being able to score out 3 levels, I think is important for my game.
And I kind of asked Coach, and I wanted to ask you, as you look, and now for seeding, of course, but are there some games where you look back and like, wow, we kind of gave that away, or we let that one slip away as you look?
Yes, there's room for you. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Ariel, as you get ready for the playoffs, do you think you're ready to handle a bigger role if they give you a bigger offensive role, if they run more through you or give you more opportunities? Are you good with that?
Yeah, I think they've been grooming me for that. Just over my time here, you can see consistently like the ball has gotten in my hands a little bit more, specifically speaking about the bubble year. So I think I've had some time to prepare myself for this and take a little bit of the load off of E.
I was going to ask you, how have you noticed how her season's gone? What do you see from her this year so far?
Yeah, to me, she's just been resilient. I think a lot of people have seen it, just her dealing with her health. And just trying to, I think mentally it's tough for any athlete to be going through injuries. But for her to kind of find a game plan and stick to it and stay locked into it for an entire season is tough to do. So my biggest thing with her is just being resilient. Like, she has to come in and out of our lineup. That can't be easy to do. So, I mean, I'm thankful for her for pushing forward. But I respect her more than anything to be able to do something like that because it's not easy.
I know you got 2 games with Indy, but it looks like you're going to play Seattle. I just wonder what you think about that potential matchup, and it was pretty even the 2 games here last week, a couple weeks ago. So.
I mean, it's a great basketball team. They got great players. They know each other very well. They've been playing together for a while. They got chips together. It's a good basketball team. We're a good basketball team too. We got some people that have been playing together for a while. We got some pieces that we got in this year that's really helping us kind of push things forward. I think it's going to be a really fun series.
What's your relationship like with Aaron? I know you guys.
Ariel Thibault.
Yes.
Okay, my bad.
No, you,
Yeah.
Just curious
That
what your
makes
relationship.
He's pretty much like my position coach. Anytime there's something I need for film or anything specific, or just kind of want to talk through some things, probably him and Seth are my 2 that I kind of go to just break things down for me. We joke about it all the time, but I think he was an English major, so some of the things that he say, I'm just kind of like, that does not kind of fit what I'm trying to understand here. So we take the time to like break things down, and we've really kind of bonded over helping me find like mental cues for my game and figuring out different ways that we can communicate. So not only can I understand him faster, but I can get things done quicker on the court.
What type of qualities does he bring to this team that maybe you don't have a Mike or you don't have a...
Yeah, I think he has a calm factor that a lot of people don't really realize. If something's getting a little crazy, he can crack a quick joke, or if it's time to be serious, he can be serious without being over the top. Those are 2 things that I've kind of actually seen him grow into just my 5 years here. Just watching him be more confident and assertive in his coaching style. Yeah. You me?
No, I said thank you.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, he's mad.
Yeah.
Hey Ariel, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing quite nicely, thank you. I just wanted to ask you, you went up against Indiana before and you did quite well. Are you hoping to replicate that success, or are you going to try a different game plan this time around versus the last time you went up against them?
It may be a little bit different of a game plan, just because they're playing at a good level right now. They're moving the ball around, they're scoring that thing. So yeah, I'm not gonna tell you what the game plan is for the cameras. But it may be tweaked a little bit. They've got some people out, and they've got a couple of pieces in. So yeah, I mean, they're a good basketball team in the sense that they can run up the score. So we gotta be ready to defend.
You guys were able to add a couple new pieces as well. How do you think you guys will match up with them now versus when you first went up against them?
I think we match up well. I mean, they're a run and gun team. They're gonna get it out and try to score the ball. I mean, our biggest thing to me is being able to defend, and I think we've got some good defenders on our team. And even the new addition that we got is athletic and able to defend as well.
Thank you.
I don't wanna repeat.
Okay, moving on to Zoom. Jen?
Hey Ariel, how are ya?
Hey Jen, I'm alright. How are you?
I'm good, and you led me right where I was gonna go. We just talked to Coach T about Jazz Jones, and just curious what it's like for you getting a teammate in the last week of the regular season, a new teammate in the last week of the regular season, and kind of how you approach that and kind of integrate her.
Yeah, as crazy as it sounds, I bring up the bubble a lot because it gave us the opportunity to deal with some stuff that we necessarily would have never had to deal with. So I kind of put it in that mind frame. Just making sure that she's acclimated. I kind of know Jazz a little bit. I've been knowing her. We played on USA together when we were younger. So I kind of know her, and we have mutual friends. But you just got to help them get acclimated. I think the biggest thing is the playbook and just telling her to go out there and play hard. And then in practice, pay attention and learn. Because this is a really good learning opportunity for her. I think Coach Thibault and the coaching staff is very prominent about helping you learn and grow as a player and a person. And so I'm really glad that she's here and she gets to experience our organization.
And then last thing for me, saw that you dropped a new merchandise line. You
I
want to
did.
tell us about that?
Yeah, ArielAtkins.net. Buy some merch. Yeah. It's just I've always wanted to have a clothing line. My biggest thing was actually being able to look in the stands and have fans with my logo on or with my jersey on. It really warms my heart to see people with my jersey. And I have some things coming out with the line that'll be different sections where fans will be able to not only buy merch from me, but be able to kind of donate to different local places around DC and support some students here in DC. So I got some things in the works with it. I'm really excited about it. As much as I've enjoyed designing it, I'm going to enjoy the community aspect of it the most. So I'm really excited about what it has to bring. And the essential line is literally just a start. It's the mad basics of it. It's the foundation of the line, of the merch line. But there's a lot more to come, and I'm really excited about it. So thank you for asking me.
Yeah, thank you.
Pepper?
Hi Ariel, I was just checking out your merch, it's super cool.
Thank you.
Alright, one quick question for you. I know you have 2 games left in the season, but how have you seen this team improve to this point?
I think our communication, I've kind of been talking about it all season. I think when you see us playing at a high level that you can hear us very loudly on the court, pointing, telling there's cutters, coming here, even on the offensive end, telling somebody you're curling, telling somebody to space. I think that's been our biggest improvement, is not only communicating, but noticing the difference of the level of how we play when we do have high communication.
Thank you.
Matthew?
Ariel, following up on that, you know what it's like to be in a rhythm and kind of find that championship caliber. And so just where you guys are at this season, do you feel like it's coming together at the right time here with the playoffs approaching? Or like, how do you kind of feel about just generally where you guys are at?
I do. Our last 2 games aren't a reflection of that, but I do feel like we're in a good groove. I do feel like we're moving in the right direction. One thing about this team, I feel like we've constantly grown over the years, over the months, Jesus Christ, over the months. But I do feel like we're getting in a good rhythm. I feel like we are getting better chemistry on the offensive end, which is something that we've kind of been harping about all year. And I think you can kind of see it kind of clicking along as we go further into the season here.
I know there's been a lot of change since 2019, but can you rely on a year like that, like for something now, or do you kind of just put it in the past?
You can rely on it for experience, to know what it's like to be in the playoff mindset. If I'm not mistaken, please don't quote me on this if I'm wrong, but I think the format is a little different this year. So that's new to us. But for me personally, I can say like my experience going into playoffs, I know that things are heightened. I know that the stakes are higher. I know that the crowds are louder, people are more physical. So relying on it in that aspect, I definitely can. But just because I won a championship doesn't mean I know how to navigate all the playoffs. Not necessarily. But experience is definitely a factor, and I do think it's helpful.
Thank you.
Nathan?
Good afternoon, Ariel. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking. Yes, ma'am. After the last two games with Chicago and LA, as a team, like, how do you mentally get past those games to prepare for, especially Friday and Sunday, and then the playoffs?
You just got to. We can't take it back. It happened. We showed up how we showed up. Whatever happened last game happened. But at the end of the day, like, that's the beauty of this game, is that you do get another chance to not prove yourself, but to, you know, prove your team right, to say, like, this is who we are, this is who we believe we are. And so we have to go out and show that. It's definitely not ideal situations. We didn't want to lose those games. I mean, I don't like to lose ever. But it just is what it is. Like, you got to move on to the next. I mean, that's like if I miss 12 shots and I'm not going to take the 13th wide open shot, what am I doing here?
Appreciate you, thank you.
Yeah.
And last question to Christos.
Hey, Ariel, hope you're doing well, first of all. Speaking about the potential first round matchup against the Storm, what did you see as the biggest advantage for you against them? You faced them recently. What is the biggest advantage for you on the floor?
I mean, it's kind of twofold. I feel like our teams know each other very well. As much as that's an advantage for us, it can be an advantage for them too. But that honestly is what I think our true advantage is. Going through them from my first year in the leagues, or I mean, just we've played them a ton and we know them really well. So to me, that's our advantage. But then again, it's their advantage too. So I mean, I don't really know, to be honest with you.
The home court advantage, how big factor for this year is it gonna be?
It's important, but if we don't get it, it ain't. Like, I mean, we out here to win.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ariel.
Thank you.